Hello, and welcome to Page to Stage Actual Plays. I am your host and keeper of arcane lore. My name is Seth. We're joined here again, continuing Arkham Chronicles episode 5 with Jonathan, who's playing Preston Cobb. How's it going, Jonathan?
Hey, everyone.
Nice. Steve is rejoining us, playing Edward Kane. How's it going, Steve?
Good evening. It's good.
And we've got Thomas, who is returning as the artist, Arthur Belmont. How's it going, Thomas?
Good.
Nice. Good. We're here with Johnny playing Robert Smiles Lamone. How's it going, Johnny?
Going all right. Going all right.
Good. Okay, so last time we had most of the episode was kind of dedicated to you guys sort of partnering up and getting together as a party. Edward Kane met with the Wilcoxes and had a discussion with them following the death of Eugene Wilcox. And we ended the episode, excuse me, we ended the episode with all of you guys getting in contact with Gerrhardt Wvinch, and Edward kind of took the lead on that. He called him on the phone and tried to set up a seance for the following evening to contact Walter Resnick, who was Preston Cobb's student, or tutoree, I guess we'll call him. So I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. Where do you guys want to go from here? What do you want to do? This is late. We'll call it late Sunday night. So after all of the events of episode 4, it's probably about 7 or 8 on Sunday.
Well, I think Preston would just hit the hay because he's getting ready to go to the university tomorrow.
Okay. Edward, what about you?
I think Edward would tell his man to his valet to go hit the hay. I'm not really sure if he would stay like in a couch. What would you say, Jim? Does he stay in the same room as me on a couch, or does he have his own room?
I would probably say you're rich enough to have booked him his own room.
Cool. Okay. So then I'll just tell him to go get some sleep because we might have a very busy day tomorrow. And I think Edward just play over in his mind what he saw when he ran into Ariadne's room, seeing Eugene's body. It out of character cost him 3 sanity points. So I think he would just be dwelling on seeing Eugene's body, starting to feel a little bit of that failure since he was kind of supposed to be there to look out for Eugene. So his night will be not a lot of sleep, so that in the morning he will just kind of be a little more darker circles. Maybe his hair's not as perfectly slicked back type of idea. So stays up for a while.
Perfect. Yeah, I think Eugene's death did play pretty hard on Edward Kane, especially considering the dream you had at the beginning of episode 4. I mean, I think that's also kind of playing into it as well. That is just kind of repeating in your head. And
right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So then let's follow Arthur down to that's true.
Home.
Going home?
I guess so, because that's where I would have whiskey, I suppose. And I need a drink after hearing about my nephew.
Nice.
So I'd go smoke a bunch of cigarettes and drink and go sleep. Okay.
Well, let's stay with Arthur. As you drive home, does Arthur live in an apartment, a house?
Yeah, he's got like a apartment.
Okay. So when you pull up to your apartment, you notice a friend standing at your door, and this friend, his name is Frederick, and he's an artist like you, and you guys sometimes just talk about art and your latest projects. Mm-hmm. And as you walk up, he's like, "Oh, Arthur, yes, so glad you made it. I've been here for about an hour, I suppose. I was hoping to catch you."
Hoping to catch me, and you've been waiting for an hour outside my apartment. That's must be very pressing news if you can be waiting for me for that long.
Well, not really. I was more and more excited about the recent development. Can we go inside?
Absolutely. Let's go. After you, sir.
All right. So you let Frederick into your small apartment. Yes. He sits down. He's like, do you have any drinks?
Well, yes, I do. And I go over to the bar, get a couple of glasses, or like three fingers of whiskey each, and offer him a cigarette.
Okay. He takes it and strikes a match and lights it up. Has a sip of his whiskey.
Nice.
So, Arthur, tell me, what's your latest project? How's the creativity been going?
Well, creativity's been there's plenty of inspiration around town. I've had having a hard time sleeping, and I've received some horrible news. So I can only assume a dark period's coming in my work.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Would you care to share, or is it?
He would know my nephew, right?
Maybe.
I don't want to divulge that information. So I just say someone very near and dear to me has moved on to the next phase of existence, and it's hit me something hard. And I don't actually want to talk about it. Actually, now we are trying to get it out there. I say we can't.
Well, that's fine. That's understandable, and I'm sorry for your loss. Perhaps tonight is maybe not the night that I should have brought this up, but well, I've been on that recent. I've been kind of stunted in my art the last few weeks, and I tried something, and I've had the most amazing results. And I didn't know how your art was going, but I thought that maybe I would stop by and, I suppose I'm sort of beating around the bush here, and I should probably get to the point.
Now, I said there's plenty of inspiration around town, but every work of art seems to be the same one after another. It's just, brush on canvas and you can paint a beautiful lady, a beautiful scenery, some flowers, but it's just all the same. So I'm actually intrigued to hear what you have to offer, sir.
I'm not sure how you're going to feel about this or your reaction, especially considering this unfortunate news that you just shared with me. But I was able to acquire a substance, and I was last night I took a bit of the substance, and I had the most amazing out-of-body experience. I can't even explain it. I saw things that I've never seen before. Time became a small disc. I felt outside of time and space. It sounds bizarre, I understand. But I
would be very intrigued by this.
Yes, well, good. And he pulls out of his pocket. He pulls out a vial that's full of this black liquid, and he says, I thought maybe I would share this with you, especially if you're having troubles with creativity and inspiration as artists. I know we always struggle with that. But I just had the most amazing experience, and I thought I would just share this with you. And if you decide you'd like to try it, here it is. And he hands you this vial of black.
Thank you, sir. This is just a sample, or do I owe you something for this?
No. Consider this on me, old friend. No money necessary. Simply sharing.
I'll give you the first look at my art I make. My works that I produce after this, so you can have first glance.
Great. I'm curious to see your experience and what you make of it.
And what do I do with this? How does one ingest such a it's like a vial, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does one ingest such a substance?
You simply imbibe it. Drink it down. It tastes a bit of alcohol, gin perhaps. And then make sure that you're in a safe place for a number of hours, I should say. Make sure you have nothing to do the next day. Perhaps there is a bit of a come down after it.
The whole day, next day? Or,
no. I think of it as a hard night of drinking. Right? Leave your morning open.
We're fine, sir.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, it is getting rather late, I suppose. I don't want to take such a nice gift, but then kick you out. But that's exactly what I'll be doing now.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I understand. Wanted to get it in your hands, and really just kind of looking forward to your experience with it. So give me a call after, and let me know what happened.
Much obliged, sir. Thank you. And get him the hell out of my apartment.
Okay. Yeah. So he shakes your hand, finishes off his whiskey, finishes his smoke, and then departs.
Now I can't remember. Did my nephew? Was I aware that he was taking black, or am I just aware that there is? Oh no, I know nothing about black. I think I botched a roll, so I know nothing about it at all. And so I just hear that it's going around. That doesn't shy me away from it. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you haven't heard of unless another player mentioned it to you in one of the earlier episodes, but definitely in your circle of friends.
No, I feel as though my nephew was murdered. So yeah, murdered. So what time of day is it? Roughly?
We'll say when you get him out, it's maybe about like 8:30 or 9.
Okay. Were records a thing at this point? I think they were, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put on a record and get a big 3x3 canvas ready in my house and take some black, baby.
Oh no! Oh.
Right to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot. I'm just gonna do an 8.
Okay. Do you take the whole vial, or do you just?
Yeah. So I'll just do a little bit, loosen my collar and kind of just take some black and see what I start painting. General rule of thumb when vibing strange substances up.
All right. Let's come back to Arthur Belmont. We're gonna move ahead a little bit in the narratives. So Smiles, the last that we saw of you, you were on the phone with your boss, your capo, Tony. I think you were in the lobby maybe of the Hotel Miskatonic where Edward Kane is staying. So shortly after your phone call with Tony, you come back upstairs and the party is pretty much ready to call it a night. So it's about, we'll say it's about 7 o'clock. And, Preston says that he has to get up for school in the morning and has some work to do. Arthur appears to be pretty tired as well. So he heads home, and then Kane is just going to kind of stay in his room for the night. So with that, where do you head? What do you do?
All right. With that, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what what Tony said to do. And I am going to go get me a couple bottles of vodka and head straight to the Irish bar again.
I'd expect nothing less. All right, good. So, all right. So you hop in your car, you pick up a couple of vodka bottles. We'll say that you know where to pick those up, or you have maybe a connection or something somewhere in town. Okay, you roll up to the same speakeasy. So it's Sunday night. Again, this building has no windows. There's a lot of traffic outside, and just that door that you entered from before.
All right, I'm going to give it a quick knock, like I did last time.
Okay. So the little slide piece opens again, and you see a pair of eyes stick out, and you almost kind of see like a visible sigh, like a rolling eyes, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?"
I'm going to hold up the vodka and one of the vodka bottles and look him right in the eye. Is Seamus around?
Oh, I guess it's your best friend now, huh?
You could say something like that.
Yeah, all right. Hold on. And then he slides the piece shut. You're there for a couple minutes, and then you see the door open, and you see the same bouncer-looking guy standing there, big strapping lad with the golf hat on, and he's like, "Oh, where's your friend?"
Don't have any right now. They're off. He's off doing a little egghead, tomfoolery.
I see. Well, I'm gonna have to pat you down, Chet. You got anything on you?
No problem. I know the procedure. I'm gonna take off my jacket, which has like the holster for the pistol inside, and hand that to him. And just once again do the whole arms up, not trying to look like I'm a threat, basically.
All right, so he pats you down, gives you the same instructions as before. He tells you to order some water from the bar and to go sit in the back booth. And he says that Seamus will be there to meet you in a moment.
All right, and as I'm passing him, I'm just gonna hand him the one of the bottles of vodka.
And he's like, "Oh, I appreciate that."
No problem. You work hard.
All right, so you head to the back of the bar, order your water, and sit down. After a few moments, you see from behind the bar there's a door, and you see Seamus enter into the room. By the way, tonight being a Sunday night, it's decidedly less busy than it was when you guys were here on, what was it? It must have been I think it was like Saturday night, the night before.
I think it was Saturday or Friday night, I think.
Yeah, because Friday was the Varga party, so Saturday night, I think you went there. You showed up with Preston.
Yep.
So he kind of saunters up to the table and kind of looks at you. He's like, I wasn't expecting you so soon.
I know, but there's been a couple developments. Did you like the gifts I sent you?
He's like, oh yeah, I got it. Thanks for that. As you can see, I don't have any labs here or anything, so I assume that was an empty vial of black.
You have the correct assumption, my good sir.
All right, and he sits down. He's like, can I get you something to drink?
Nah, but I hope I could get you something. And I put up the other vodka bottle. Of course, it's unopened at all. Like, it still has like the little price from the market or whatever on it and everything.
Okay, he takes it. He's like, listen, I don't think you're getting the right idea here, huh? You understand how our organizations work. Orders come from the top down, not the bottom up, right? So you and me having these conversations, that's not really how it should happen.
Well, you were the one I could get in contact the fastest with. And this is a time-related matter. I'm sure your superiors wouldn't mind it too much as long as it benefited them more than, you know. And then I'm just gonna like look at him.
Well, all the same, let's keep this quick. So what do you got for me here? Why are you here again in my establishment?
I came to see if you have any news of Paul Rogers. Maybe any more concrete than his stomping grounds being the Arkham University or the Miskatonic University.
Well, as it was last time, I think I told you that I don't know much about him, and in fact, I learned his name from you. So I don't know what you expect me to find about him in 24 hours. What kind of progress have you made?
Well, sad to say, like I can't really do much until I get my own sample lab from the labs back for my own gang. I was just hoping that, you know, if your vast intelligence network and, you know, all the guys you have on the ground, that you might have heard a thing or two here or there, you know, maybe a little bird tweeting.
I can't say that I have. So out of character here, Smiles, what's your pitch to basically get him to tell you something? Like how would you persuade him to? Are you hoping that just like the bottle of vodka is enough? What would you say?
I know the bottle of vodka is not enough. The bottle of vodka was just the opener. Okay. I don't really have anything besides the whole like black is going to be destroying our, you know, it's addictive enough that people are stop buying alcohol to, you know, buy more black. That is, and I want to be like, hey, I'm just trying to get rid of this thing, if not learn more about it, so we can so we can keep our own businesses going. Like, even if we have, you know, a rivalry with, you know, our parent gangs and stuff, it's better for both if black is off the street.
Okay. So give me some kind of social role. So I'm thinking that either sounds like a persuade, if you want to do a charm and maybe just kind of get on his good side and be like, hey, we're working on the same team. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll try a charm.
All right.
58 versus 70.
All right. So he's like, oh, I see what you're saying. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything for you. Smiles?
That's no problem at all. I just was hoping that maybe one of my chickens hatched a little bit soon. But if you have nothing, I just hope that if I come by another time, that you might have a little bit more information. And if I find anything, I'll definitely let you know.
All right. Well, that sounds fair.
Of course. If there's one thing Smiles is always is ruthless and fair. And that's I'm gonna put on my hat as I say that and basically look at him. Thanks for the water. I haven't even drunk it at all. So and I'm gonna get up and start walking back to the entrance.
Okay. So as you leave him, you see him kind of in thought. And then when you're about halfway across the room toward the entrance, he's like, "Oi, Smiles." And you turn around?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
You turn around, he's like, "Paul Rogers. He's a little squirt, small guy. He's got red hair. He's got a crescent birthmark right by his eye. That's what I got for you."
Well, thank you kindly, good sir. And I'll let you know if I have something more. I'm going to have a quick chat with our Paul Rogers. Anything you'd like me to send his way?
Not for now. If you find out who he's working for, of course, I'd like to know that.
Of course. Of course. Now you have a good Sunday night. May the Lord be with you now.
All right. And he takes a big swig of his whiskey.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick it up on Monday morning. I want to get a sense of kind of what Preston and Edward are doing on Monday morning, and then we'll come back to Arthur. And I'm already going to say, even with just the small amount that you took, like you're going to be kind of KO'd for the morning. So
That's fine.
Yeah. So we won't. He'll be unavailable if you guys attempt to call him. But let's catch up with Preston. What do you do on Monday morning?
Preston wakes up and he, after he kind of packs his bag, he grabs the vial of the black that Arthur just took a sip of. It's a different vial. It's the and it's the one that he got from Walter Resnick's apartment. And so he is just thinking of a backstory on why he has the vial, but he's headed to the university. He wants to head to the laboratory and see if he can find someone that can, maybe someone in the university that he knows to analyze this liquid.
Okay.
I get to hear about what it is after I've taken it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Well, would he know anybody in the chemistry department?
Give me an edu roll. Let's just see if you do.
Okay. All right, I got a 41 out of 70 success.
You know of Dr. John Wheatcroft? He's a physician and sometimes works with the police department doing autopsies. And but he also is a doctor at the university, so you are familiar with him.
Okay. Actually, before he gets there, I mean, that's who he's familiar with, but he wants to first visit the student apartments where Walter's apartment is, and he just wants to see if is there police tape outside or is there any movement outside as he's getting to campus.
Okay.
So he'll go there first. Yeah.
So we'll say that Walter doesn't live far from you. So I imagine, and as we kind of talked about it throughout these episodes, Preston, I think, lives on campus in a student cottage similar to Walter's. So I'm going to say it's just like maybe a block or two down from your cottage. And as you walk by, you do see that his cottage has been taped off, roped off. There's a police officer standing in front of his door and just kind of holding watch.
Okay, then that's all Preston wanted to see. If the police actually did show up there, he'll just head toward the lab to find. We say it was Wheatcroft.
Wheatcroft. Yep.
Dr. Wheatcroft. Yeah. So he'll go to Dr. Wheatcroft.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
I got a hard success, 18 out of 52.
Okay. So we'll say that you go to Dr. Wheatcroft's office because you know him personally, so that might be the first place to kind of check in and see if he's there. And as you knock on the door, you hear his voice. Yes, please come in.
Yeah, Dr. Wheatcroft. I'm sorry, Doctor. It's been a long morning. But Doctor,
hello, Preston. Good to see you. I didn't expect you here.
And so Preston's like a little bit flustered. He's like sweating a little bit. And he's like, "Oh man, it's a hot day outside apparently." But I just had a favor to ask you, Dr. Wheatcroft.
Well, I've got a few things to do today, but certainly. What is your request?
Have you heard the news about Walter Resnick?
I'm not familiar with Mr. Resnick. What's the news?
Well, he's a student I was tutoring, and down south we say he has gone to be with the angels.
I see. What happened, or do you know?
I think he probably overdosed on a substance, and I was wondering if you could take a look at it. I actually have a sample of it.
Okay. And he seems to be like caught off guard by this news, obviously, and he doesn't know Walter, but that he's acting strangely almost, and he's like, certainly, yes, I'll take a look at this. Where did you find this?
Well, see, that's an interesting story. I had seen that Walter was acting strangely, and then outside of my stoop, this was laying in an envelope.
I see. And you found it empty, did you?
No, in the envelope was this, and he pulls out the vial.
Oh, you didn't show him the vial. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, then he's like, I see. Well, do you have any idea? And he looks at the vial. What this is?
No, that's why I'm coming to you. I'm hoping you could figure it out for me.
Okay.
You see, I have reason to believe that this is in connection with young Walter's death.
I understand. I'm a bit perturbed, to be honest with you, Preston. Part of me wishes to give this to the police. If Walter is indeed dead, as you say, this may be some evidence.
Well, I believe the police already have their own samples. This is more just out of my own curiosity.
Well, I must say I am curious myself.
In the name of science.
Well, sure, and then to get to the bottom of what happened to Walter, indeed. Yes, I'll take the sample. Yes, I will get back to you as soon as I can, and let you know what I find.
And how soon would that be?
Well, I've got some paperwork to do here today. I've got a class a little bit later this afternoon. I will give you an update by tomorrow. I'll let you know how far along I get.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Depending on what you find, the police really have nothing to do with student affairs here on campus as far as day-to-day affairs. And if this truly is something that's going on here around campus, I mean, we may have to bring it to the dean, but I didn't want to bring anything to the dean just yet unless we knew it actually was something.
I think you did the right thing bringing it to me, Preston. The dean has a lot on his plate, and well, to be honest with you, this is not the first that I've heard of this drug or caught wind of it. So I will do my analysis, and I will get back to you with what I find. And I will probably also likely send this on to the police as well with my findings, if that's okay with you.
Certainly, but can you please withhold the mysterious nature of how I ascertained this?
Yes, I will not reveal my source. That's fine. Yes, I can do that for you.
Thank you. And then also, you said you've heard of this drug before?
Well, yes, and I don't know how much of this I should be, telling you, quite frankly. Dean Fallon is, like I said, he has a lot on his plate, and it's probably more his place to tell you if anybody would. So I would ask if you have any questions about this or any suspicions that you perhaps take it up with him.
Very well, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Preston, for bringing this by. I appreciate it.
All right, and with that, Preston will leave, and he's going to basically ponder for a moment and think about his move with Dean Fallon.
Okay. All right, so let's pick it up with Edward in that brief pause. So, Edward, you wake up on Monday morning in your suite. What's the plan for the day?
Quick question, out of character. Did I end up going and talking to Detective Stuckey, or did I blow him off yesterday?
Yeah, that's probably. I think we actually ended the scenario last time, like more like late afternoon. So that's probably more of a DM thing that I cut that off. We'll say that. Let's say that Detective Stuckey wanted to talk to you this morning. We'll just say since it was my fault.
No worries.
I think it was 10 a.m. if I remember, but I'd have to go back and check. But I think he wanted to see you at 10 a.m. or
I think
something like that.
I think it was like 4:30. Yeah, I think it was 4:30 on Sunday.
Okay.
But we'll say that he's wasn't working Sunday, or he was off investigating something, and he asked you to come in on Monday morning, if that works.
Okay. So then I will. I'll get Victor up, and we will get ready to go. Probably take advantage of any sort of breakfast being served here at the hotel. And then after that, I will find out how to get to the station and then head over there.
Okay. Your valet, Mr. Smith, is like, oh, yes, I know where the station is, sir. I can take you there.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So you arrive at the Arkham police station. There is a young man working the desk, and you walk in.
I'm looking for a Detective Stuckey.
Yes, Detective Stuckey is on investigation right now. Do you have an appointment with him?
I do. My name is Edward Kane.
Ah, Edward Kane. Oh, I see. And he kind of like files through a book. He's like, oh, yes. Sure. 1 second, please. And he walks off. After a few moments, you see an older gentleman come out. He's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. He's, looks like a detective. He's got dark circles under his eyes. Kind of looks like a rough individual. He's seen a lot of things, and he's like, Mr. Kane, I assume.
Detective Stuckey, I assume?
Yes. I'm Detective Stuckey. Please, I've got a few questions for you if you have some time.
I have about a half an hour if that's what this all will take.
That should suffice. Yes. Please come to my office.
Thank you. Okay, I'll follow him and let him lead the way.
Okay. So, and I assume that your valet stays behind.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna keep him in the car, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I offer you any water or any beverage? Are you okay?
No, thanks. I'm fine, thank you.
I see. Well, let's start from the beginning, Mr. Kane. I understand that you were at the Varga party on Friday night.
Yes, I was happening to be a guest and was there, unfortunately, for the tragedy, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, I've got an open case on the boy who died there that night. What is your relationship to Miss Varga, Miss Ariadne Varga?
Just acquaintance, really. I met her at the party for the very first time, and then I saw her leave up the stairwell, and that was it. That was the last time I saw her, and the only time I spoken with her.
So you did speak with her at the party?
Yes, we were right in the middle of this grand announcement, so I definitely was there in front of the entire party with her on the staircase.
I see. And what is your relationship with the deceased, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, more or less the same. Eugene was an acquaintance. I more so have been entering into business recently with his father, Mr. Wilcox, and just happened to be able to meet Eugene around the exact same time I met Ariadne.
Did you have any conversations with Mr. Wilcox on that night?
Nothing more than just small talk about the party, and that's it.
I see. So you have no personal information about Mr. Wilcox or his frame of mind on the night of the accident? or the incident?
I do not. He seemed in good spirits and rather happy to be on the arm of the guest of honor. Other than that, Detective, I was just there to enjoy the party like half the town there.
I see.
Is there a reason you're questioning me, Detective? Just collecting more eyewitnesses, I'm assuming?
Yes. I spoke to a few witnesses the night of the incident, but I understand that Miss DeVarga, Zoltan, had cleared out a lot of the guests before we arrived. So I was just kind of looping back and touching base with any of the witnesses that I may have missed. What is your relationship with Miss DeVarga, Zoltan? What do you know of him?
I don't know much about him. I ran into him while with other guests, and he said a few words, said thank you for being at the party, though I don't think he knew exactly who I was. The only thing I knew is he was from another country trying to settle here in Arkham. I myself, too, am just visiting, as I'm sure you've already found out from other guests. So I wish I had more information for you.
Yes. I've heard from other eyewitnesses that after the incident that you were one of the few who went into Ariadne's room. Can you briefly describe or share what you saw there?
Okay, and then this time Edward doesn't really have to act to kind of be visibly shaken. So he just shudders a little bit, and a little bit's real, of course. Kind of looks away blindly at something on the floor, probably a stain, and he goes, I was at the bottom of the stairwell. That's why I was able to leap up there as quick as I was, and I just remember seeing a man that I had just spoken to, and he was smiling and looked rather joyful, and then his brains were all over the floor. I've never seen a man die, Detective, so that was rather shocking, and I see it pretty much every time I blink and close my eyes and try to sleep. And I don't remember seeing anything else. I turned away as quick as I could. I did hear that Ariadne fell out of a window. Is Miss Varga? Did she survive her fall? Or
yeah, she's actually fine. Just nothing more than a few scrapes and bruises. I was also informed that a Mr. Portman was near the room as well. Did you happen to see Mr. Portman before you entered the room?
Do I know who Mr. Portman is?
He was the first. Yeah, he was the first guy that you guys spoke with at the party. It was him and his drunk friend Bartholomew. It was Stuart Portman, and he was the one who was climbing out of the window in the hallway as you went up to Ariadne's
That's
room.
Right. So I think I'll play my own forgetfulness as well. Like I'd be like, I met a lot of people, Detective. I don't quite remember a Portman. I'm sorry. I don't know if I could help you. Everyone was drunk.
I see. Do you know a man by the name of Robert Lamone?
Lamone. Isn't he a detective? No, I don't think so. Never mind. Probably not. I mean,
curious you say that. There was a few eyewitnesses that have stated that he was claiming to be a detective. Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, I had heard the name detective thrown around there. Maybe a Lamone, could have been something else. I have to be honest with you too, Detective. Being at a party for the very first time with a bunch of people I don't know, I gave into every libation that I could. And of course, legally. But, just a lot of a night. And the last thing I remember is a man dead. So I'll be honest with you, I do not know of a Lamone. But I do remember something about a detective wandering around.
It's curious you say that. Mr. Portman, part of his statement, he said that he spoke with both you and Mr. Lamone at some length. He said he had the idea that you were friends of some sort. Is he mistaken?
He must have been. I mean, I don't know how much truth a very drunken man's statement can be if he can mix up characters or not. Portman, I don't know. There were some people at a bar. That's all I remember, sir. if I was in the same room, it is possible that I was brushing shoulders with a Detective Lamone.
And he gives you a long, hard stare, like silently, just kind of like
that sounds good. Yeah, Edward's definitely trying to lie this one for sure.
Actually, give me a fast talk roll, and let's just see.
Yeah, for sure, buddy.
Let's see how well he.
I feel like that's extremely fair. He wouldn't have anything to say to that. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for fast talk.
No problem.
I think it might be in the second column or the left column. I think it's also alphabetical.
It is per column. You're right. There it is. Bottom of the column. And my roll is probably, it
Interesting.
is pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So he gives you a long, hard stare. Doesn't say anything for maybe 30 to 45 seconds. And says, well, Mr. Kane, I assume you will be in town for the next few days.
I planned on it, and I can be. Is this Detective Lamone someone that is a person of interest? I wouldn't mind asking around. I have many meetings today.
Well, with it being an open investigation, I can't give you too much information. He is a person that I would like to speak with at the very least. I've heard his name thrown around with some of the witnesses. He was one of the people who detained Mr. Portman at the window, I understand. So, if you can find a way to track down Mr. Lamone, I would be interested in having a conversation with him, yes.
I would definitely keep my ear out. I have a lot of boring business meetings, but if I do rub elbows with anybody tonight, I will absolutely tell you anything I could, Detective Stuckey.
Very well, Mr. Kane. Thank you for your information, and please stay where you're at for the next few days. I may be calling you for further questioning, depending on how this investigation pans out.
Seems like you already have my number and a hotel room, so I look forward to any phone calls in the future. And I'm going to quickly stand up and without shaking his hand, just kind of give him a nod and start to head out of the door.
All right. Very good. Okay. All right. I think now might be a good time to pick it up with Mr. Belmont and see what happened with him.
He finished his greatest work.
So after taking the black substance, you do have a spell of inspiration, and you kind of start. It starts slowly, but it starts to build, and you start to have visions, and you have visions of moments in history. You see people, native-looking people, sort of dancing around a fire. You see scenes of war, and from the Great War. I don't know if Mr. Belmont was ever in a war, but
no, he was not.
Okay, so he sees scenes of war. Men firing guns at each other, and then he seems to kind of drift, and he seems to be in great darkness, sort of floating. He sees stars all around him, and nebula and nebulous clouds, and seems to be traveling at a great speed, a great distance. And at some point, things go black, and he awakes in a very dark cavern, maybe. Okay. He awakes on some stone steps, or on a stone platform, and they seem they're flat, kind of into a makeshift platform. And what do you do?
I sit up and I like check myself to see if I have all my belongings with me, or if I'm clothed or anything.
You are clothed, but you have almost kind of like very simple garb on, almost like burlap kind of like just sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a very simple fashioned, like
hempen.
yeah, like yeah, and it's
like
almost
peasant clothing.
Peasant clothing, yes, and it looks very old. Like it's it's not a t-shirt, right? There's no arms or anything. It's almost just kind of like you're like in a robe or a
sackcloth. There we go, sackcloth.
Yeah, or a tabard or something like that.
Okay, so like what's the just to go over senses, like what's the temperature, like what's things gonna smell like? Do I hear anything?
Yeah, you awake in what feels like a cavern. It's very dark and dank, and the air is kind of wet and moist. Okay. As you kind of sit up and look around you, you see a staircase descending into blackness, and the stairs are rough-hewn stone.
Mm-hmm. So, and there's just enough ambient light to see. Is there a source of light, or?
There's not a source of light, but you do seem to have.
I can kind of see.
Kind of like your eyes have adjusted to this darkness.
Okay. So I'll look around. Is there any like writing anywhere, or is it just steps down into the darkness?
There's apparently no walls, and I think that you might be a little bit afraid to.
No, I wouldn't go down in that darkness. No.
Yeah. I mean, the only path seems to be these like rough-hewn stairs heading downward.
Okay. Well, that's the only direction to go.
Unless you want to wander off into the darkness.
Oh God, no. Yeah, I'll descend a few stairs and kind of see how I feel, or if anything changes.
Okay. You descend these stairs and you feel almost like you're going down a spiral.
Okay.
And like as you like look off to like the edge of the stairs, it's a black abyss. And as you look to where you have come from, again the darkness is like a cloak. You can't see anything from where you've come. So there's basically just the path ahead of you.
Is there any like pebbles or anything? Can I like toss one down and see if like I hear a clack or anything?
Sure. Yeah, we'll say there's kind of like a broken stone there. You can
just eat that into the darkness.
And no sound returns.
I'll just keep descending, I guess.
So Mr. Belmont descends for probably 15 or 20 minutes, just step after step after step, to where you are feeling winded and obviously afraid. And eventually you come to a landing, and it seems to be a large table made of timber, large slats of wood, very kind of old and roughly made chairs surround it.
So I'll go investigate the table and chairs, seeing if there's any like indicators of anything, or if it's literally just blam, table and chairs, no like markers or anything.
As you descend the stairs, the end of the table starts to come into focus. So you've seen kind of the beginning of the table, and then as you get to the bottom of the stairs, you can see the far end, and you see two figures sitting at the far end of the table. They're both cloaked and hooded, and where their faces should be is just black.
Oh, okay. But how far off from where I'm standing?
It's hard to say. They seem.
I know what you mean.
They seem very far off.
Okay. I will call out to them. I'll say, now where do you suppose I should be going? I've been taking these stairs forever. Can you fellas might help me out?
They make no reaction to what you say, and they're both sitting at the end of the table and just seem to concentrate on your movements. You don't get a sense that they're threatening. They're just sort of observing.
All right, I'll approach them. Well, back in Nolans, gentlemen say hello to one another. I'd like to see what's going on around here. I'm a little lost. I don't really know what's going on here.
As you start to walk down the length of the table, you see that they are very far away, so maybe you're kind of shouting this to them. And they make no motion of hearing you. They do follow you with their hooded cloaks.
Yeah.
And as you get closer to them, you're aware of their very immense size. So from a very long distance, they appeared to be, human sized, 6 feet tall, 5.5 feet tall. And as you get closer to them and kind of walk halfway down the length of the table, they might be 20 feet tall.
Oh. Okay.
Give me a sanity roll.
Okay. Sanity. Did I literally just click sanity?
Yep.
Oh no.
Lose
That's
one.
a failure.
Lose one.
Lose one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm visibly shaking. This can't possibly be right.
Yeah, that's kind of your feeling at this point, is that something must be wrong.
Yeah.
So do you continue walking toward them?
I mean, there's nothing on the table that I see, right? It's just me, table, and them.
Yeah, there seems to be something on their end of the table, so you can kind of see some.
Yeah, I'll just keep going.
Okay, and then as you approach them, you're almost hesitant to approach them as you get very close to them because they're just towering over you.
Yeah.
But you do notice that at the table there appears to be a pitcher of water and a cup that is filled with water. And this looks very appetizing to you since you've been walking for so long.
Yeah. And is it me sized or is it them sized?
You sized.
Okay. Mightn't I have a drink there, gentlemen? Way up there, large fellas. Rather parched. I just go ahead and grab the cup and start drinking.
Yeah, one of the
Or
figures
drink
kind
it.
of holds out a hand as if to offer you what's on the table.
Okay. So I give him a nod and pour it, and it just looks like water.
Yeah, it looks like water.
All right, I'll drink some water.
Okay. You drink some water.
Yeah. And do I immediately die?
No. You feel refreshed by it. It's very cool and cold. It's a relief from you being very tired and parched walking down that stone staircase.
Okay. Well, tell him jumping at me at a disadvantage, height-wise and information on the area. Wonder how I could possibly be getting home or on out of here.
There's no immediate response. They continue sizing you up.
And then sip.
And then one of them speaks, and his voice, before I tell you what he says, his voice is booming, but he's talking in such a way as almost like in a whisper. So it kind of comes across as like whispering to you, but this whisper is just like reverberating in your head. And he says,
"We have summoned you from a great distance."
Well, here I stand before you. Shakily, I say it. For what purpose?
We don't have much time. We offer you a warning.
I'm all ears.
Your world faces a grim future.
Is there something I should do? Can you equip me to resolve this danger?
The hunter of the dark, the god of 1,000 forms, the crawling chaos.
Does any of that ring a bell to me?
if you have any Cthulhu mythos, it might.
I don't believe I do, sir. No
I
one
don't
does.
think you do, yeah.
Mm-mm. Okay. I know we're pressed for time. Is there a major thing I should be looking for? Is there can you give me some help besides just mystic names?
He starts to speak, but it's almost like this view of what you're seeing kind of fractures.
Shit.
And starts to shake, and you become overwhelmed. You're feeling flushed and hot, and you pass out, and everything fades to black.
Great. That's how they get you. Got you some more. Got to find out what they're talking about.
First, it's free.
Mm-hmm. the first pack of black is always.
All right.
God damn. All right.
So
Super.
let's stick with Mr. Belmont. You, after what feels like an eternity, you awake on the floor of your apartment.
Not the first time.
And the sun is brightly shining in your room.
Oh no. I imagine I feel like garbage.
You do feel like garbage.
Okay.
You feel like you've traveled countless miles.
A bit. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bleary-eyed, I kind of look for any kind of timekeeping device.
Let's say you have a grandfather clock maybe in your apartment.
Sure.
You seem like a classy guy. It looks to be 11 o'clock.
Oh no. Okay. We're supposed to be around 8 at my studio. Is that what it was?
I think so. It was in the night. It's 7 or 8. I should have watched the episode, but yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start the day off with a cigarette and a drink.
As you awake and sort of take measure of your house, you notice that the vial that you drank last night is completely gone. So you didn't consciously drink it, but
it wasn't water.
Yeah, but you downed the whole thing at some point through the night, and all you see is just sort of like a black residue circling the bottom of the vial.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
let me look into the mirror. What's my face looking like?
You look okay. Maybe a bit underslept. Your eyes are a little bit darker. Maybe you look a little.
Like I had a night.
Yeah. I'm not sure of the word, but just kind of like sunken cheeks. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, like it took something out of me.
Perhaps.
Okay. I imagine the records just go.
Yes, I like it. That's exactly what's happening.
What did I paint, man?
So if you did start painting when your vision started, you can tell you can tell that it quickly just kind of faded off. Just like it just sort of like descended
to the floor, blam.
Yeah. And maybe there's some spilled paints on the floor. Like you didn't get far.
All right. Well, that endeavor not as good as I had hoped. Is there aspirin at this time of the year? I don't know. Laudanum?
Yeah, I know. We'll say you have something. You have some kind of painkiller.
Drink some laudanum.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess I'll give the hotel a ring and just to make sure everything's on time. Make sure it's the right day.
You're calling the hotel Miskatonic?
Yes.
Okay, so and are you phoning Edward Kane?
Yeah, I was gonna phone Edward Kane, but
Okay.
I don't know that he's gone. I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see. So Edward will say your meeting with the detective was at 10 a.m. What happens? Where do you go immediately after that?
Oh man. Okay, so when he gets in the car, it takes a moment to almost kind of get shaken down by the police a little bit, and then just settles himself a little bit, and he says to Mr. Smith, "We need to head back to the hotel. I need to make a few phone calls. Let's get going."
Yes, of course, sir. So he drives you back to the Hotel Miskatonic. Quickly, let's pick it up with Preston. So Preston, after your meeting with Dr. Wheatcroft, where do you head?
He'll just go to the library.
Okay. And what are you researching?
He already looked into what he could find on the Hop House, but he's going to just because he has time to kill. He really has. He has nothing really to do today, so he's just going to continue to look at what he can find about the Hop House, but also since we're going to meet Gerrhardt at some point, he's just going to do some research into like spiritualists, what people do as far as like seances and basically doing his research on that. I mean, he thinks it's a bunch of baloney, but he's going to see what he can find out basically about those things before he would, visits a spiritualist.
Okay, so give me 2 successive library use rolls. The first one will be for the Hobhouse estate, or Joshua Hobhouse, and then the following one will be for spiritualist / Gerrhardt Wvinch, and then we'll come back to you after your study. So, Mr. Kane, you arrive at the Hotel Miskatonic. I assume you go to your room.
Yes, I'm going to head up straight to my room, and I'll have Mr. Smith in there with me, and I'll tell him to lock the door, and just to kind of hang out there. I'll go to the phone and try to get in contact with Smiles Lamone, because he did give us some way to get into contact with him.
He did.
So you get to play Smiles.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah.
Let me...
Let's call him.
Practice my accent real fast. No.
Okay, so you ring Lamone, and there is no answer.
Okay. I think Edward would try a couple times, but when he finally doesn't get a hold of him, he kind of slammed the phone down in a little bit of frustration. Okay, I can't get a hold of Smiles. What time were we meet? It's not today. This is a Monday, right? It's not Monday. It's Tuesday. We're meeting Gerrhardt.
It is Monday. No, it is Monday. It's Monday.
Oh, it is Monday?
Yep. So
I apologize.
We'll call it 7:00. We'll say it's 7:00.
Okay, cool.
That's what we
and then
agreed to.
you have the address as well to the place.
To Belmont's studio. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay, then I think what I'll do is after I hang up the phone, I'll just sit there and think for a moment in case someone is trying to call. That it would be probably perfect timing.
Yes.
Yes. So, perfect timing as you hang up
Right?
the phone and slam it and give out a frustrated grunt. The phone rings on your table.
That's fantastic. Okay, I'll be like, I'll answer it quickly. This is Mr. Kane.
It's all not me. No,
Yeah, right. Who is this?
Don't do that to me, Thomas.
I have the wrong number. Mr. Kane?
Oh, Arthur. Yes.
Yes. We still have the engagement tonight at my studio, correct?
Yeah, I have it down as 7:00.
Okay, I'm very relieved that it's the right day.
Arthur, I have a question for you real quick. And I just
yes, sir.
cutting you into you real quick.
Yeah.
Were you questioned by the police?
No, sir. Not today. Not within the last week.
Oh, I was asked some very specific questions by Detective Stuckey just an hour or so ago about my involvement at the party at the Varga house, specifically our friend who seems to always have a joyful smile on his face.
Yes.
Do you
The
know
happy
if
fellow.
someone? Yeah, the happy guy who always kindly tells us what he thinks. Do you know of the officer told me something about a Portman and a Bartholomew. I met a lot of people. Do you know of a Portman or
Seth, would I?
Give me an edgy roll for Portman. You definitely don't know Mr. Apley, but you may know Mr. Portman. He works in exotic art and books, I believe. So you might have.
So I know Portman.
I'll say that you've had some business contact with him before, so you recognize the name, but I wouldn't say you guys are good buddies or anything like that.
I've come across his name a couple of times in business dealings, but don't know the man personally.
Well, it seems Mr. Portman is pointing fingers towards anyone who was associated with our friend Smiles recently. So that includes me, named particularly. Do you know where we could find a Mr. Portman, by chance?
I should probably have some of his whereabouts in my ledger.
Okay, just maybe a name for our smiling friends list to look.
Sounds
I mean,
good. I divulge information to Mr. Kane and everything I got.
Okay, and
excellent. Okay,
Mr. Kane, you also you got his card at the party. He was one that you specifically said, "Let me get your card." So you have his contact information. Yes, Portman was. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to see if maybe he was he into art?
He was into
feelings?
exotic art and books. He didn't have a storefront, but he was that's his business.
Okay. Yes, Stuart, right? Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I lost the note and I'll find it. All right. Okay, so yeah, I'll take all that information and then that helps me remember like, oh yes. And I go through my jacket and find the mini cards that I got that evening and goes, okay, I don't know if will be or not questioned by the police, but this is probably someone who knows something. I do believe this is the guy who was up on the second floor trying to jump out of a window after Eugene and Ariadne. So maybe something we should look into ourselves. I
will put that in my list of people I should be looking out for.
All right. I'll still be there at 7 sharp, Arthur. Is there anything else that needs to be done?
I've got a pretty open day ahead of me. Before then, I was just wondering if there's anything I should gather before we all meet. Length of rope in the chair, maybe. Is there anything you think we should be requiring?
I can't imagine. I'm no detective or even care too much about what's gone on other than now that my name has been named. So I'm pretty involved in this, and I would like to take care of this before my father's money has to take care of this. So
wine or whiskey? What are we saying here?
I'm just saying maybe our friend can do a little interrogating himself. And I kind of like quickly say the words and because I'm starting to feel like already like I'm dipping into like some underworld I don't know about. But
exactly.
Very seriously though, I will say I'm sorry for your loss, Arthur. I apologize if I did not say anything yesterday. If I could ask you a question, what is, and by the way, sorry, out of character, do I know your relation? Is it are you a?
He's my nephew.
Okay, so is Grace your sister?
I think so. Yes.
Or Edwin. Yes.
Grace.
Okay.
Grace was his sister. Yep.
I will say, the reason I ended up at that party actually was because I was contacted by Mr. and Mrs. Wilcox, Edwin and Grace, to look in on Miss Varga and the Vargas in general. Your sister, if I have that right, believes that perhaps she was doing some gold digging on your family. Is that something
that was the fear? I was actually contacted to go to that particular party as well. I had a previous engagement, couldn't make it. And I can't help if I was there. Can't help believe if I was there, I might have been able to do something. But it sounds like it just took place behind closed doors.
Forgive me if I don't remember if you were there or not, Arthur. It must have been your ticket I had then. So.
That was a out of character chuckle.
Okay. I guess we could just wait till this evening. I have a couple of phone calls, but if you could try to reach out to Smiles, we need to probably reach him before 7.
I will do that.
All right. Thank you. And again, Arthur, I'm very sorry. I hope we can figure this out.
That is the goal, sir.
Okay. Take care, Arthur. I'm going to go ahead and just hang up, of course, without saying goodbye.
Sounds good. Like you take yeah. Oh, right. I guess we're finished.
New York jerkness.
Yeah.
So just
my southern draw is too slow.
Yeah.
And well, you have
and click.
It's gone.
All right, so you rest for the night. You have a restful sleep, no issues. You wake up in the morning. What time would you say you wake up? 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 8 or 7 a.m.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right, yeah, we'll call it 7:30 then. We'll say you're up early.
All right, I'm gonna take about 30 minutes to get myself prepared, looking all handsome and everything. Get my hair all done, get my suit and everything looking fine. Got my hat, of course, dusting it off. Polishing the shoes if it needs it. And then I'm going to go back into my car and head straight to the university again.
Okay. And where do you head this time? Are you going to the gymnasium or the library?
Yeah, I'm going to go walk towards the gymnasium first. Like if there's like a open area that has like all the like pictures of their teams and like trophies and stuff like that, like a little showcase where people could walk into and admire and stuff like that.
Okay. We'll still say
Which
you
are-
have your little map from when you went to the kiosk and we're trying to find Preston. So you you use that map to find the gymnasium. The building is large. There's not too many people there at this hour. I mean, it's still pretty early in the morning.
Yep.
So you kind of walk through the hallway that's sort of leading into the gymnasium. So there's sort of like an atrium outside the gymnasium proper, and they have this is where they have kind of like shelves of like trophies and pictures of outstanding athletes and stuff like that. And just there's maybe like a couple athletes in the hall, just kind of students passing you by.
Yeah. All right. So like I said, I'm going to go up to the trophy case, or like where all the pictures of the team would be. If there, are still pictures, I think there should be pictures around this time period, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go to where the trophy showcases are.
Okay. What are you looking for?
I am going to be looking through all the different teams and seeing if I could find someone who has that crescent scar that Seamus O'Shalley was talking about.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden roll.
All right. Go. Aw.
You don't find anything. You spend maybe like 15, 20 minutes looking through the pictures, and it's a bunch of team photos. It's like the swim team,
Football team.
Exactly.
Lacrosse. Yeah.
Right. And you're looking through them all, and you don't see anybody that seems to have a birthmark.
Okay. I'm gonna sigh a little bit, and times like this, I wish I actually was an egghead. So I'm gonna go walk towards the library this time.
Okay. Are you walking through campus?
You mean like through the buildings or like through the outside?
So we'll say that the library is a little bit further from the gymnasium, so you could either like walk through campus basically, like through the quad, all that stuff, or you can jump in your car and drive over to where the library is and like park closer.
I'm gonna walk through, and I'm gonna try to look at every single person that's like walking past, either going to class or it's Sunday. They're probably just
It's Monday.
walking around.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
it's-
So yeah.
it's-
yeah.
yeah,
People
school's in
walking to
session.
class, stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep a lookout, see if I can find someone who's short, who has red hair, and who has that crescent scar.
Okay. Give me 2 luck checks.
All right. Oh.
Okay. So you walk through the campus unbothered. You're kind of scoping out some of the students as they're sort of lounging around in the quad. Some of them are, sitting under trees, sitting in shaded spots. Many with books open, many with food in front of them.
Yeah.
We'll say that I probably should have called for a spot hidden instead of a luck here,
Yeah.
but that's okay. We'll take your luck roll. You see a couple students that look a bit more disheveled than maybe like some of the other students. They don't look very kind of neat. They look tired. They look kind of like losers, and they're just kind of like sitting in a small group, like 3 or 4 of them under a tree. And this is the only group that kind of really stands out to you. Other than that, it's just kind of like students, on their way to class, places to go, people to see, kind of thing.
Okay. I'm going to walk up to them.
Okay.
Real quick.
Okay. So yeah, they're just kind of conversing as you walk up, and as you walk up, they sort of see you and look at you.
I'm gonna take off my full hand, put it on my chest, kind of bow a little bit. It's like, good morning, young gentlemen and women. How are you today?
Fine.
Yeah. Can I do like a spot check to see like when they talk, if any of their tongues are black at all?
Yeah. How are you gonna get them to talk? What would you say first?
It's like, dang it. Okay, what year is it right now?
1920.
1920. All right. Man, this place has sure changed a lot. I remember when I was here at this college about 7 years ago, class of 1913. How are you guys liking the place?
Well, I mean, it's fine. It's my father sent me here. You used to be a student here?
Oh, that was years ago. Years ago. I'm gonna kind of like look out into the distance.
All right, that's probably enough. Give me a spot hidden and see if you can check out his tongue.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, his you can't really see. I mean, he's not like, he hasn't said a lot, but from what you can see, like you haven't been able to see his tongue basically. So you almost kind of wonder if it's black.
All right. I'm gonna like after I look I kind of like look away, but when I was like looking up, I'm kind of like looking down at them, like side view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn back to him. It's like, are you all right, young man?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you don't seem to be all that lively.
I mean, it's Monday, you know. It's what is it? 8 o'clock. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm a little bit tired.
Is your tongue okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, it looks like a bit black. Here, let me see it. Trust me, I am a medical professional.
You're asking him to open his mouth?
Yeah.
Give me some kind of social role. A fast talk. And that sounds like a fast talk if you're going with I'm a medical professional.
Yeah. Oh fuck, this is gonna be no. That's a 5.
He's like,
definitely not.
That's okay. I'm feeling fine.
No, I don't think you are. I really don't think you are. I'm gonna and when I say that, I'm gonna open up like my little vest a little bit, like my coat, right where the holster is, and I'm gonna try to intimidate him.
All right, give me an intimidate check. That might be more effective.
Of course.
If you would like, so we haven't done this before, but if you want, there's a thing called pushing the roll. So what you can do with pushing a roll is you can roll the check again with a couple caveats. First of all, you have to tell me what you're doing differently. So it's not enough that you just hold open the lapel of your jacket and show them the gun. So you'd have to tell me like what you're doing to get another roll. Mm-hmm. And if you fail that roll, things go catastrophically bad. So not only do you fail like normal failure rolls, but it's like something even worse on top of that happens. So it's kind of like a risk reward sort of system, but you can push the roll if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you're pushing it.
So I'm gonna try. Let's go for this. All right.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do? So he he looks at the holster and it doesn't really intimidate him. What does he do?
Yeah. He does look surprised. I mean, he almost kind of flinches. Like he does seem intimidated, but he doesn't seem to be going along with what you're saying. So you think that he might run off and like find somebody. That might be.
Yeah. How many people are here in this group?
We'll say 3. There's 3 of
3?
them. Yeah.
All right. Just sitting like in a little triangle circle, or they, okay. Or like, it's okay. So, I'm going to, put like away, and then I'm just going to walk around them like we were playing Duck, Duck, Goose, but I'm going to do it in like a predatory way. Kind of like I'm hunting them, or I've already trapped them in here. And it's not going to be like super slow. It's going to be like, kind of like fast enough that they can see I'm walking around them, that if any of them, like, I can give chase immediately to any single one of them if they try running.
Okay.
And I'm going to basically be leering down at them. And I'm going to say, well, Sonny, you don't really seem to understand the situation that you're in at the moment. And now I'm not trying to harm you or your friends here. I'm still like walking around looking down at all 3 of them. I'm just trying to look for an old friend of mine. You might know him, and judging by your tongue, you probably do. A little short fella, red hair, crescent scar on his forehead, on the right side of his forehead. Goes by the name of Paul Rogers.
Okay. So it sounds like another intimidate check, but for this, you're actually doing something different. You're not asking you're no longer asking to look at his tongue. You're asking to give you information on Paul Rogers. So in that case, we'll call it not a pushed roll, but give me another intimidate check.
Oh! Oh yeah.
So apparently this whole song and dance that you do, kind of pacing around them, he gets really fidgety as you do that and is kind of like looking around you.
Mhm.
And he's like, and is sort of like dumbstruck for a moment. And he's like, yeah, I know, Paul. What do you want? Are you gonna hurt him?
Oh, no. I just want to have a chat with him. You see, him and I are supposed to have a deal going on, but he forgot to give me a way to contact him.
Well, I don't have his contact information. We he usually finds us. I mean, he usually comes around campus every few days with what he's got.
All right. How many days ago has it been since he's got what he's got?
I don't know. And he looks over at his friend. He's like, John, and he's like, last week, Wednesday. I don't know.
You think he'll be making his rounds anytime soon?
I don't know, man. I was hoping he'd be here today, but I don't know his schedule. He doesn't go to school here.
No? Interesting. He told me to come find him here. Now, do you know the most frequent area he goes to?
No, I don't know him. All I know is that, he brings the stuff.
All right. Why don't you, each one of you, tell me where you got your stuff?
And they all kind of like look at each other and they're like, I don't know. He just comes around the campus. I picked it up last week, behind the library.
All right, behind the library. What about you, John?
He's like, well, it was actually just right over there. And he kind of points to like a shady spot with some trees around.
All right. As they start, kind of start saying that, I'm going to pull up a map and I'm going to look down at them. I'm going to pull out my hand a little bit. Could I please borrow a writing utensil?
Sure. He fumbles and he's like, here.
All right. I'm going to do one like X behind the library. I'm going to kind of judge where I'm at and where that tree is, do a little X there. And what about you? You haven't really been that chatty, sir. Where have you gotten your stuff from?
This is a young lady, and she's like, I got it from these guys. I don't know who Paul Rogers is. I don't know him.
Is that so? Can I try to see if she's lying to me or?
Sure. Give me a psychology roll.
Nope, can't tell.
Okay. As you're sort of meandering there, one of them kind of stands up, the guy that you've been talking to, not John, I guess. And he's like, look, I think we've given you all the answers that you've asked for. I think it's time to leave. There's nothing else we can tell you.
Well, that was exactly the same thing I was going to say, young man. I'm going to smile, kind of brightly at him, hand him back the utensil. I don't know who I grabbed it from, but I'm just handing it to him. And I'm going to like pat him on the shoulder a little bit and be like, now you kids stay out of trouble.
Okay, and they gather up their things and then they just all kind of like hightail it out of there.
All right.
Let's catch back up with Preston really quickly. So Preston, unfortunately, you probably spend a couple hours in the library and you don't find much. So in terms of the Hob House research that you did, the Hob House line, they lived in Arkham for very long. They've been there since colonial times. Again, they were one of the persecutors of kind of like the Arkham witch trials. And so there's a lot of talk about Hob House journals and testimony that has never been discovered before, which again is kind of what you already uncovered the first time. And so this is why Professor Leiter has been so interested in the Hob House estate, is that he may be able to uncover stuff that has never been seen by another historian. It's been in the family this whole time. In terms of what else you find out about the Hob House kind of lineage is they lived in Arkham for a long time, and it actually wasn't until Joshua that he went to move to Vermont out near the Green Mountain National Park So, and again, that kind of like fits in with what you know about Joshua Hobhouse, in that he's, for his life, he was a lifelong bachelor. He was a recluse. He didn't really care too much for society or being kind of in the spotlight, so that he just kind of retired to a country estate, bought a country estate himself, and then just lived out his days out in Vermont alone, pretty much. The other thing that I think has sort of been talked about before in past episodes, but the only other family related to Joshua Hobhouse is a Cobb family, spelled the same way as your name, but they live in Providence. And so that's who the rest of his property will go to after it's been filtered through Professor Leiter's assessment and the Miskatonic University's assessment of his documents.
So the Green Mountain National Park home is unrelated to the Hobhouse, right?
So no, so his last name is Hobhouse. The Hobhouse estate, the country estate, is in Vermont.
That's in the one that's in the Green Mountain National Park,
Yep.
where he moved to retire.
And that's Leiter's assignment, is basically to go out to Vermont, go to the
that
Hobhouse
house,
estate,
okay.
and assess basically the papers and documents that he has there.
All right, cool. I thought I was getting confused. I thought maybe we're talking about a whole different place. Okay, so they're the same.
And that's the late Joshua Hobhouse's estate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that last name always like reading the tie-in. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna ask about Hobhouse if that's a full one name thing or what's going on there.
There's been confusion about that name, like in other streams as well. So other games, I mean, that happens a lot. But Hobhouse,
so Hobhouse is his last name.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The
okay,
Hobhouse
in my
estate.
notes.
Yeah.
Hobhouse. Okay. I should have asked that a long time ago, man.
Well, I was gonna bring it up, but I kept on reinforcing like Hobhouse estate, like it's not the Hobhouse.
Yeah.
It sounds like a corporation. Like, oh yeah, this is the Hobhouse, like Ronald McDonald House,
right? And then the other piece of information. So you don't find anything on Gerrhardt Wvinch specifically. In terms of spiritualists, again, they're just kind of like you may be having flashbacks from looking into Ava Carrier, but essentially kind of the same thing. I mean, mediums, contacting of the dead. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the literature that you pick up on that stuff speaks of it as if it's just a hoax and not anything real, pseudoscience, I guess, at best.
Okay. Yeah, I think he gets 15 minutes into that, and then like even if he finds a firsthand account of someone being at a seance or something, he just is like, oh, this is hooey, and he just pushes it back on the shelf.
Yep, so. That's the sense you get.
I got a little bit of information, but not the most that I wanted. I was hoping it was going to be like a preferred spot. Okay. So, is there an area at the campus that's kind of a little bit elevated that'll let me kind of scan the courtyard area, or like where all the students go for breaks to hang out in the sun and stuff like that?
Sure. I mean, you could find a good vantage point just on like a little hill or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go up there and basically just kind of like wait there, see if I can find Paul doing his rounds. It sounds like it's been a while. So
okay. So how long do you wait there?
Let's say a couple of hours, real quick.
Okay. So
well, especially I wait until lunchtime for the university, when all like the students would be getting out, going to lunch and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So give me a spot hidden check.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah.
You feel like you've been keeping pretty close watch, but there has been no Paul Rogers, nobody meeting that description show up on campus.
All right. Okay.
At this point, I would suggest, so let's say it's about like 11, like 15. You decide that you want to go home or back to your safe house and grab a little bit of grub and maybe eat. And then, if you want to come back or whatever you can, but I think that would be a good move.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like it's lunchtime. I haven't seen him yet. Out of all the students there, he's not there yet. So I'm going to head off a little bit and go get myself some food.
Okay. Let's pick it up with Mr. Belmont. It's been a moment. So, Mr. Belmont, you just got off the phone with Mr. Kane and had your conversation. What is your plan here for? And well, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna try to ring Smiles, but I imagine he's not gonna pick up.
Okay. We'll say you call.
Hey, hello there, Smiles.
Well, there, Mr. Arthur. What can I do you? What favor could I do you today?
Yeah, just making sure that we're still on for tonight's engagement.
Ah. Yep. You see, Arthur, I'm more of a realist. I don't believe in all that mumbo jumbo spiritual stuff. But it seems like it might be a good lead for you fellas. So you guys keep on barking up that tree. I'm going to go and looking to take care of a little project of mine, if you don't mind.
I imagine so, but I have a twofold reason for calling you. Seems your name has been going around with the sort of folks that we don't want it to go around with, and just want you to keep your head on a swivel and maybe not go around detectiving it up.
Yeah, my name always pops up with the police. Bunch of corrupt little bastards. No need to worry about Smiles too much, my friend.
Oh, I know. I just want you to be aware for when it does come, you see it coming towards you.
I would say something like, well, I appreciate your concern, but as you see, I'm on my lunch.
Well, all right then. And then, like, I guess he would just hang up as I'm like drawing on Southern pleasantries. Like,
probably, yes. He has no time for that.
Yeah. This is a familiar thing for Arthur. Well, okay then. I guess I'll just hang that up, and I'll just grab a just like a bag, not like a satchel or a man purse, but just like a canvas bag, and put a few bottles of a bottle of wine, a bottle of whiskey, and then rope, and a knife in a bag. Yeah. What else?
Damn.
Rags. Yeah, and then I'll take that's what I'll take. I'll take that to the little studio.
Okay.
When it's time to go, and I think it's time for coffee and more cigarettes outside.
Okay, so let's go to Mr. Cobb and refresh me on what your plan was, Mr. Cobb. What was your?
He is. He's going to the student cottages where Walter's his cottage is taped off.
Yep.
And he's going to. Is there like a RA or something there that's like? I guess he's just trying to poll the neighbors, like people that may have known Walter. I don't know if he knows any of Walter's friends.
Sure.
But that's basically what he's doing.
Okay. So, do you like knock on a next door neighbors?
Yeah, let's just start. I'll just start there.
Okay. Roll me. Roll me a D4.
Oh, okay. I got a 4.
Okay. So you're a bit unlucky. You have to spend a couple hours sort of canvassing some of these neighbors. So you ask them all kind of questions. Most of them give you the reply that they weren't really friends with Walter. Some of them do kind of like say that there were strange noises coming from his apartment over the last few weeks, screaming, what they would assume to be night terrors because it was kind of the middle of the night. And then it was just like one loud screech and that was it. You do come across another young lady who appears to be friends or was friends with Resnick. And so we'll pick it up with her. So you approach her door. I guess you ask her a bit about Resnick, and she's like, "Yes, I was friends with Walter."
Did you start to notice something strange about Walter these last few days or last few weeks?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. He, Walter. Did you know Walter?
Well, yes, I tutored him.
Yeah, then you would know. I mean, he was a good student. He was, a bright a bright gentleman. And over the last few weeks, he's just been kind of disconnected at school. And, you know, we hung out some, and, you know, he hasn't contacted me in weeks. And he just kind of started hanging out with a bad element. If you ask me, I mean, he just kind of neglected his friends and just seemed disconnected at school. He obviously wasn't in a good place.
Now, you say bad element. Are you talking about individuals?
I don't know. He just didn't really hang out with his normal group of friends. And there's this other guy. There's this other guy that he's just kind of been, I guess, hanging out with. I don't know.
Do you know him?
No, I mean, I know of him. He's not a good guy. He's not anybody that.
Does he go to the university?
No, not anymore. I think he may have been a student at one point.
Oh, what's his name? Maybe I know him.
Well, and she seems very hesitant to say.
Now, dear, you're not going to get in trouble.
It's not that. He's just I don't trust him. I don't want him knowing that I gave you his name.
Well, my lips are sealed, dear. I would never tell him you gave me his name.
Well, Paul Rogers is his name, and he he's been hanging out with Walter, and I've seen him come over a couple times to his door, and I don't know what their relationship was, but I've seen him around.
Well, dear, I promise you, I'm going to get to the bottom of what was going on with Walter, not just for Walter's sake, but for the sake of the student body here at Miskatonic University. And I thank you very much for the information.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Let me know what you find out, I guess.
I will do. And with that, he's going to go to the registrars and look up Paul Rogers.
Okay. So you go to the registrar, you give them his name, and then they come back with some information that he is indeed a former student at Miskatonic, but that he hasn't been enrolled since a year ago. And that's the kind of the last of the information they have about him.
No address, no hometown, nothing like that.
No. Nothing like that. No.
Okay. All right. Well, he has a name, and I don't think he knows this name because I know it was mentioned at the party, but I don't think it was mentioned in his hearing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lamone mentioned it to you or not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, I think he will go home because he's expected to join the party for Gerrhardt, right?
Correct.
So that's his day. That'll be his day at Miskatonic.
And so what do you do now? You headed back to the university?
That's the best lead I got so far. So he doesn't actually live in the university. He just goes to there. That's even harder to find out.
That's what the student said.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to the university.
Okay. And you're gonna try and hang out on that little hill again?
Well, I'm gonna kind of like walk around, go behind the library, just trying to just kind of look for anything suspicious, like maybe any drug deals going down. Like trying to use my knowledge of peddling, like illegal substances, to guess like where people would like likely go to on this campus to go make a deal.
Okay. All right. Give me another luck check.
Okay. I'm hoping for good. Oh!
All right. Oh, I hate to waste that 6. That was actually that was for evasion, but
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So we'll say that you go to some of these spots. So we'll say that you go behind the library and you spot this redheaded kid, not dressed like a student. You know, he's not wearing any like lettered shirts or anything like that. And he's pulling something out of a satchel, and he's giving it to another kind of dopey looking kid with dark circles under his eyes and looks a little bit, underslept and dehydrated. And then that kid like takes whatever he has, puts it in his satchel, and then kind of walks the opposite direction. And then this guy who looks like perhaps he might be Paul Rogers turns around and starts walking toward you.
All right. I'm just gonna kind of like nonchalantly kind of like pass him by a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to get unless he like confronts me, I'm gonna try to like pass him by nonchalantly, then kind of like follow behind him for a bit.
Okay. So he takes note of you as you walk by and just kind of like nods and
and I do
on.
my nod.
Okay. And then you're attempting to like tail him basically?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a stealth check in that case.
Okay. I hope. Eh!
Wow, these dice rolls are hot for you tonight. All right, so you're able to kind of tail this kid. He wanders around the quad and is kind of, you notice that he's trying to avoid campus security. So like if a campus security guard walks by, you'll see him kind of like sit down and like pull something out of his bag and just kind of do something, and then when the coast is clear, he gets back up. You see him meet with another kid who's sitting down in kind of a small group, and then they kind of wander off to like some shady nook, and you see another kind of dealing going on. And do you wish to continue tailing him, or what? What do you want to do this time?
So he's kind of like hidden away right now while doing this dealing, right?
Yeah, they'll say like, yeah, he just finished this deal with the second kid.
All right, so I'm gonna actually like close in on him, and I'm gonna pull out my gun, and I'm gonna do the old like press my gun against his back kind of thing, while having my hand on his shoulder.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
and I'm gonna try to get a tight grip on him so he can't like get away.
Okay, give me another stealth check for sneaking up on him.
All right.
All right. So you follow him expertly down this alleyway that he goes into, and you grab onto his shoulder, you stick the muzzle of your gun in his back, and he's like, oh, just taken off guard, like, oh.
Yeah. It's like I'm gonna kind of like lean in a little bit close to his ear. It's like, hello, Mr. Rogers. How are you today?
And he tries to like turn and look at you. He's like, what do you want, man? What do you want?
First off, you're gonna be quiet until I say you can talk. Second off, you're gonna come with me for a little bit.
Whoa! Where are we going? Where are we going?
Don't need to concern yourself too much, my friend. I just need to talk to you a little bit. But these places can be so crowded, so many eavesdroppers. I wouldn't want anything too drastic to happen now, would we?
No. What do you want, man? What do you want from me?
Like I said, rule number 1, Mr. Rogers. I'm going to give you 3 strikes, and I'm going to like basically cock the gun a little bit, like. Okay. After 3, well, I can't say what could happen. So I'm basically gonna try to like be very close to him, kind of like kind of get to his side, kind of put my arm around him, kind of have like my gun still kind of a little bit behind him, but I'm okay. So he's like in front of me, like right here. My gun's like kind of hidden, and I'll have my arm around him, kind of like I'm a buddy of his. Okay. So it's still pressed against his back, but it's kind of like concealed away. So you have to look pretty close to see that I have this gun against his back.
Okay, so where are you walking him then?
To my car.
Your car? Okay, so
yeah.
You kind of have to go back through the quad for that. So give me another luck roll. Let's see if your luck runs out yet.
Hey.
So apparently you don't see any security guards walking around as you take him to your car, and he doesn't see any either, unfortunately. So you get into your car.
Yep. would I have any like way to tie him up a little bit? Like maybe some fabric or something in there, or like a
You're a
zip tie of
gangster.
sorts?
I'm sure that's fine. Yeah, we'll say
Okay, so
something.
a little bit of rope. So I'm gonna like kind of, I'm gonna basically still have the gun pointed at him. I'm gonna basically throw him a little bit of rope and be like, tie that around your legs real quick.
He's like, no, man, I'm not doing that. And he kind of steps away from the car a little bit.
Nope. Now like the gun's still like pointed at him. So now I'm gonna like kind of press it like right here. And it's like strike number 2, Mr. Rogers.
Give me an intimidate check.
Okay. Come on. Yay!
Jeez, how many successes in a row?
I don't know.
He's like, look, man, I don't even know what you want. What do you want me to put this around my? What do you want me to tie myself up for? This doesn't make any sense. What do you want from me?
It's just a precaution. This could either be your final night, or it could be the biggest score you've ever gotten.
Just tell me what you want, man.
Mr. Rogers, what was rule number 1?
I don't know. I've been listening to your rules.
I am allowing you to. I'm allowing you to speak, Mr. Rogers. What was rule number 1?
I don't know, man. I want to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I don't even know what you're asking. I don't even know why you're here. Why you have that gun? Who are you?
You just can call me Smiles, and I can be your best friend or your Grim Reaper. And right now, you're being a bit difficult to be my friend. You see, I only allow a certain type of energy. You know, you're not throwing off the right vibe, if you catch my drift.
What do you want from me? Are you some kind of gangster?
Well, first thing I want you to do is to tie your feet together.
I'm not going to do that, man. You're not going to shoot me in broad daylight. What do you want?
I'm going to like lean in close and look him right in the eyes. You don't seem to understand. I have no qualms about shooting you in broad daylight.
You're going to
I bet you have a bit of qualm about meeting your last breathing your last breath today.
Yeah, I do, but I don't see how me tying myself up is going to get me out of that qualm.
You'll be perfectly fine. You just have a little bit of information.
I'll tell you some information. What do you want? What do you want, man? You haven't told me anything. I'm not going to tie myself up and put myself in your car. I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to grab the back of the pistol and hit him right across the... And when I'm hitting him, I'm going to be, strike 3, Mr. Rogers. Batters up.
All right, so roll me a fighting brawl. Stat sheet here.
12.
Hard success. All right, hold on.
Out of 50.
Jeez. All right, so this is going to be a contested roll, so he's going to have to roll as well.
Yeah.
All right. And you're attempting to pistol whip him, basically? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I got 12 out of 50.
Okay. So let's see. Roll your damage. I'd say that's probably a D4. So roll a D4.
All right.
1.
So sad. But,
right.
you know, I don't want to hurt him too bad. So
Okay. So you...
It's just to show him that I don't care.
Yeah, you grab him by the collar and go to whip him, and he kind of like dodges, but you get a glancing blow across his brow, and you kind of open up like a cut, and he's bleeding. And
is he dazed a little bit, or...
Not really. He's on his turn. He's gonna he pulls out a switchblade and is now gonna attempt to attack you. So when he when he attempts to fight you, you can either choose to dodge, in which case, so how it kind of works with these brawl rules is it's based on the level of success. So like that last one, you had a hard success. He chose to fight back and got a fail. So the difference between fighting back and dodging is that dodge, if you get the same level of success, you successfully dodge. With fight back, if you get the same level of success, he actually wins. But if you win on the fight back, then you get to do your damage again. So it's not like a D&D combat where it's like I hit you, you hit me. If you guys are fighting, it's like a scuffle, and whoever gets the better success essentially gets to deal the damage. So when he brings out the switchblade and attempts to attack you, are you attempting to dodge or are you attempting to fight back?
I'm gonna dodge real quick.
Dodge? Okay. So
so just roll a dodge here?
Yeah, roll a dodge. So success.
All right. Yep.
And he rolls a failure. So he pulls out his switchblade, swipes sort of across like your midsection, and you kind of back up. And it's your action if you wish to continue this combat or say something.
Well, I'm gonna try to. If I say something, do I not get to hit him back, or
correct?
Would I be able to go next still? Okay.
Well, it's a brawl, so again, like you still get to roll and fight back, but but if you choose to say something, then you're kind of like foregoing your attack roll.
All right. I guess negotiations has come down to this, and I'm gonna like once again go for his head. Well, I'm gonna try to like hit him across the head with the pistol whip. Still,
okay.
To try to knock him out.
Okay.
I want to knock him out.
So give me another fighting brawl roll.
Oh, I failed this one.
Okay. He failed too, but you failed, so you didn't hit him. So you swing, you miss, and then as he kind of dodges out of the way, he bolts off, running down the parking lot. He's running.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna chase after him.
All right. I got. Your question was about whether or not there was any Irish-looking individuals around.
Irish, yeah, like Irish mobsters.
Yeah, you don't see any here. When he starts running, do you chase after him, or what's your next action?
Yeah, I'm chasing after him. I'm gonna chase after him.
Okay. All right. So,
do I have to roll anything?
Yes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to roll Constitution first. So give me a con check.
Why?
Okay. And he rolled. Okay. Oh, he succeeded. Okay. All right. So what is your?
Yep.
What is your move speed? Under combat? Yeah, it's under combat. Your combat attributes. And it should be
movement rate. I am at 9.
You're 9. Oh wow. Okay. So you are going to be at a move 8 for this. So how chases work is usually if we were at a game board, there's like little dots along the way. And basically they're like obstacles. So he has to evade the obstacle, and then you have to do the check to see if you also evade the obstacle and can close the gap. So basically what you're doing is you're sort of hoping for him to hit a snag in his path so that you can catch up to him. So in this case, you guys are both the same speed. You normally would have been faster than him, but with that failed con check, you get off to a slow start. So he runs out into the street, and he runs out into the street, and like a few kind of cars are like passing by really quickly, and he kind of like he loses some speed as he finds like a little seam, and then finds a seam in the road and then runs across.
Yep.
So so you come across the same road. Give me a dodge check to see if you can weave through traffic.
All right. Oh, come on. Yeah, hard success.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you successfully gain 1 dot on him. So you're just right behind him. So he gets across the street. As he's running down the sidewalk, we'll say that there's that he scrabbles up a fence. So let me see. Let's see what his roll is for this. Climb is 20. Okay. So he scrabbles up the fence and jumps over. So go ahead and give me a climb check if you're gonna go over the fence with him.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Yes! All right.
Okay, so you push through this backyard, and there's a couple dogs on chains that like go after him, and he kind of dodges out of the way, and he again tries to climb up the other fence to get back out onto the main road. So he's gonna do another climb here. Oh wow!
Ooh.
He jumps over the fence as well. So give me another
Yeah.
climb.
Fuck. This might be where it ends. Yeah.
You could spend 7 luck,
27.
or you could push the roll. But this might involve some of those dogs if you don't make that roll. If you choose to push it, or you could spend 7 luck.
Will I completely lose him, or would I be like a dot or two behind?
Yeah, he's going to be 2 dots in front of you again. So it would kind of he's stretching the gap a little bit.
All right, I don't mind being 2 dots behind.
Okay. All right. So you scrabble over the fence a little slowly, and then he's back on the main road. Let's see. So you're chasing him down the sidewalk for a little bit, getting tired. As he turns a corner, he runs into a couple people who are just kind of strolling by. Mm-hmm. So let me do another check here. So he like totally crashes into these people, and then kind of shoves one of the ladies on her hiney as he moves past him. Go ahead and give me a dodge roll as you
all right.
as you stumble through his mess.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so you kind of just like you hurdle over this lady who you pushed down, and you're gaining on him again. He sees you on his heels, and then like without any regard for safety, he darts into the street again. So I'm gonna do another check here. A car barely misses him as he just like didn't even look, just ran out into the street in a car like swerved past. So give me another dodge check. Okay,
that's quite a few successes.
So you're right on him. Boy, this is gonna have to come to a conclusion at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna continue running down toward. There's like some stores and some shops. He's running toward the merchant district.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say there's another group of shoppers that he has to plow through, so we'll do another dodge roll, which again, okay, so he crashes into another group of people. Give me another dodge. If you successfully do this dodge, then you've got him.
Ooh! Oh. Can I push for that roll?
Yes. Give me a push.
Okay. Oh. God.
So he kind of like falls into this group of shoppers, throws one of the people that he crashed into you, and you just kind of like shove the person aside as they're falling into you, and then you grab him by his lapels.
Okay.
And he's like, "What do you want, man? What do you want?" He's like screaming.
Okay. I'm gonna like push him like onto the ground, and I'm gonna be like, "I finally caught you, you thief!" And then like to everyone around, and I'm gonna lean into his ear. It's like, "You're gonna tell me everything I want to know about who is giving you this fucking black before I show everyone here a public execution."
And everybody around you is kind of like, "Oh dear, oh dear." And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? The black? What is that?
It's that drug you've been peddling around, Mr. Paul Rogers.
And
I'm whispering into his ear, and I'm like, I'm gonna like put him on his back. Well, on his belly to put like his hands on his back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be I'm gonna try to pretend to once again be the detective and be like, "All right, don't worry, folks, I got him now. This is official police business. All right, nothing to see here."
And as you say that, he's like, "He's a liar! He's a liar!" And he's like screaming at the top of his lungs to all these people. And there's quite a commotion developing here now. Like there's quite a group around you guys, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, like, "I don't know this guy. He's not a cop. He's shaking me down." And like just people are like looking at each other all wide-eyed.
Yeah. Why don't you tell that to all the people who you've been peddling drugs to, Mr. Rogers?
All right, so what do you do with them?
Do I still? Fuck, I should have probably grabbed some rope.
Yeah, I don't think you have the rope with you because you threw it at his feet and was like,
I have a belt. I'm gonna take my belt off and try to like like wrap his hands hands around with my belt,
Okay, so
like behind his back. Yeah.
give me another fighting brawl because you're attempting a maneuver here at this point.
All right.
So if you make this, okay.
Hey!
All right, so you get this belt wrapped around his wrists,
Yeah.
and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's like,
Yep.
"Call the cops! This guy's no cop!
Yeah.
Call the cops! He's trying to abduct me!"
I'm gonna be like, "You're just lucky you made me lose my handcuffs while I was chasing you. You gave me quite the fright. Don't worry, folks. I am a PI. This guy is indeed wanted by the police. I'm just gonna be taking him down to the station, and I'm gonna like basically pull him up and start like walking him like away and stuff like that.
Are you
from
walking
the
back
crime.
toward the campus, or where are you taking him?
I'm gonna have to take him to an alley or some place at this point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna quickly take him away to where, no one's gonna. Are we close? Are there any other mobsters around, like the Irish mobsters?
Give me a spot hidden. The spot hidden is gonna roll for a couple things there, but give me just one spot hidden.
26 out of 70.
So as you're kind of looking around at everybody, you don't see any mobster-looking fellows. You do see a couple of like scared bystanders who are kind of scattering, and they're, they're going into other buildings.
Yeah.
Your feeling might be that the cops might be here soon. I mean, they seem to kind of like they're going to report this.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna quickly take him away then. Like push him away while slowly telling him, you're like, Mr. Rogers, I don't want to be the person who takes you straight to the morgue. But after the commotion you caused and the trouble you're giving me, I might as well just let you sleep with the fishes tonight.
So as you kind of like herd him off into an alleyway, you haven't lost some of the people who are part of the crowd. I mean, like people obviously see where you take him, and there's like a couple people that are kind of, like following you around. And but you get him down to the alleyway, and I guess you throw him up maybe against a wall or something. And he's like, "Look, man, I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "I can show you my bag. I don't." He's like, "I've been selling ink. I'm selling ink. Okay, I don't know what this black is that you're talking about." And he's like, "Can I get my bag? Can I look at my bag?"
Well, Mr. Rogers, you kind of lost all liberty to, present your case. So you gotta damn well tell me what you actually been peddling, or who your dealer is, or who your supplier is. That is.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm selling ink. You can look at my bag. Look in there. Look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your bag's back in my car, and I'll make sure to look at it. Now, the other thing is if you're going to be coming to look at it, too.
So he seems a bit exasperated with you. He's like, all right, man, look, I'm just a middleman, okay? I can't tell you who I run this for. If I do that, I'm as good as dead, all right?
Well, you see, Mr. Rogers, your supplier doesn't have to know that you told. Now, with me, you lost all chance of, at this point, I am very well peeved. And you, in my eyes, have lost all chance to live at this very moment. But you can help yourself by giving me as much information as I want.
And as you say that, you hear wailing sirens in the distance.
Now, you have a matter of 2 minutes before I make sure you never walk again.
He's like, what do you want me to tell you?
I want names, addresses, drop points.
I can't tell you that, man. I'm telling you, if I give you that, I'm dead.
No, Mr. Rogers, you can tell me that. You just won't.
I'm as good as dead as if I tell you anything, man.
You're as good as dead right now. Do you want to live for a couple more days, or do you want to die right now, Mr. Rogers? You have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Yeah, and the sirens are getting closer here. Give me an intimidate check.
Okay. 61. Yeah.
All right. He's like the guy. His name is Dover. All right, Dover.
All right.
He's like, now let me go, man. I told you what I know.
I said 3 things. Now I want an address.
For what? For what?
Either a drop point where you pick up the stuff from him, from this Dover, or, where Dover actually produces this black.
Well, I have no idea to either of those questions. He comes to my house and gives me the shipment, and I take it out to the students.
And let me know where you live, Mr. Rogers. Because we're going to be pretty well good partners from here on out. If you make it out. Now, you have about a minute to 30 seconds before I lose my patience.
I don't want to be dealing with any cops, man. I live over in Rivertown, all right? And he gives you an address. He's like, I live on East Street.
All right, I'm gonna basically walk out. We're both gonna kind of like shuffle out to the street.
Well, he wants to go the other way. He wants to run down the opposite alley and not be anywhere near you when the cops show up.
Oh yeah. If there's an opposite alley, we're going that way then. Yeah.
Oh
so, yeah. I'm gonna like basically follow with him just because if I go out the other way, the cops are gonna just find us faster.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna like run with him towards the end of the alley. And then at the end, I'm gonna like when it opens up to the street, I'm gonna basically take my belt off, put it back on. It's like, you see, now was that so hard, Mr. Rogers?
And he curses at you. He just like throws his knapsack over his shoulder and like takes off.
Yep. All right, and then I'm gonna take off as well.
Okay. All right. What time do you guys all arrive at the studio, at Belmont's studio?
I'll show up a little bit early just to open up and get things, situated for a gathering.
Okay.
Yeah, Edward and Mr. Smith arrive at 6:58 sharp, and he takes 2 minutes to walk to the front door, like just getting out of the car, and puts his watch in just at the right moment and walks inside.
Okay.
Preston
Straight to
arrives.
Arthur.
Preston arrives at 6:30, full half hour early. So I don't know, Arthur, what you're going to do.
We get there at the same time. I'm like,
Nice.
well, hello there, Mr. Cobb. Like jingling keys. Like, would you like to assist me in setting up shop?
I would. I also found out a name today.
You did
probably in connection with my student.
Oh, let's get inside, away from prying ears, and let's discuss.
Yeah. So apparently my student was taking some drug called the black.
My eyebrows
comes in like comes like in these vials, and then I sort of deduced that he probably got it from a friend. So Paul Rogers. Couldn't find much information on the lad.
Do I know Paul Rogers?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no role required.
I didn't get it from a Paul Rogers, but I did also get it from a friend.
You got what?
I do that. As you can see, it looks like I've had a bit of a night last night, but I did receive some of the substance you described, and I didn't have any reason to not try it. And my goodness, that was an adventure in a bottle.
Oh, Mr. Belmont, you tried this dangerous drug?
That is what I am saying. So you are correct.
Are you okay? Let me see your tongue.
Yeah, I stuck my tongue out.
It doesn't look as black as Walter's, but it might be like there might be like a little like tinge of blackness on it. Yeah.
I got to tell you, that's the probably the first and final time I'd ever try something like that. I thought maybe it might inspire some works of art, but I got a squiggle line down to the floor where I woke up. And then drug-induced visions. We can discuss more when Mr. Kane gets here before our guest arrives. Hopefully, he'll arrive here soon. We can speak of it before our guest arrives. But and then I go, have you ever heard of? And then I kind of mentioned the three, like the thousand forms God or these other names. Like, is that all ring a bell to you? So,
No, I can't say it does.
Okay. Now, was that a mythos roll or a cult roll that it should have done?
Mythos.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got a cult for some reason.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm just letting you know that it's my belief that drug killed Walter.
I will surely steer clear of that in the future. But yeah, it was a ride. I'll tell you that for sure. Did not yield the results I'd wished, and therefore I will not be partaking in such things again. I'll stick to my other vices.
So, Belmont, I don't know if when you say that you mean it, but there is a piece of you deep down that, like,
oh, I'm not making eye contact while I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a piece of you deep down that, like, I'm not sure I can hold to that. Like, that was a wild trip, and there's like a piece of you that just like feels.
I heard his reaction, and I was like, socially, I need to deny any further expeditions into the cosmos, but lingering. Definitely want to try that again.
Nice. Okay, good. All right. Anything else between Cobb and Belmont here?
No, that was it.
I offer him a drink. I don't know if he drinks.
Yeah, he drinks.
All right, cool.
Preston's just this kind of like this investigating is a little bit exciting for him. I mean, he's a 24-year-old graduate student, so that's why he just pops right in and starts saying, "Guess what I found out today."
Nice. That's what he just set up seance equipment.
Yeah,
table and chairs.
Okay, table and chairs. Okay, good.
Table and chairs. Yep. No tablecloth. Now I've heard the charlatans out there usually like to hide their tricks behind the tablecloth, so it's just going to be a standard table. Chairs with 4 legs, but just random, just nonsense, just droning on and on, filling the silence.
Okay, about
what I'd like. What I'd like to see is if he can do this magic of his with either in the broad daylight or with this room fully lit. We should keep the lights on.
Absolutely. Darkness is not something that like the thought of darkness probably is not a good thing right now, right?
No, that's what my mom always said. She said bad things happen in the dark. That's why people want to do it in the dark.
Yeah. So I believe fully lit would be the the setting for tonight. He does have candles, but he's not going to light them. He's just going to have them on hand if they're needed. But I believe the whole reason we're doing this is to try to push information out of them. And then I was like, I brought some other supplies, and I show him the bag. Like, I don't know how far these supplies will need to go, but
yeah. Preston looks at that bag and he's just like, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, this is to remove the rope. I'm not going to be burying this in the chest of charlatan. I say nervously. Yeah, but I say let's just wait for Mr. Kane, and I already forgot the guy's name. Winchell's. What's his name?
Gerrhardt Wvinch is his name.
Gerrhardt Wvinch. That's right. Mr. Wvinch will be stopping by soon. I hope.
Preston Cobb and Arthur Belmont are both in Belmont's studio, and at 6:55, you hear a chipper knock at the door.
I open the door and greet whoever the heck it is.
Standing before you, you haven't met this man. He looks to be in his 30s, but he has stark white hair and a full head of hair. It's not thinning, brushed back. He's dressed in all black and kind of like a black overcoat, and is holding a briefcase. And he says, "Hello, my name is Gerrhardt Wvinch," and he gives you a little nod. He's like, "I am looking for a Mr. Kane."
He has not yet arrived, sir. I'm Arthur Belmont, acquaintance of his. And, would you please come on in, sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. Belmont. And as he comes in, he sees Preston, who I guess is maybe awkwardly standing there. He's like, "Hello, my name is Gerrhardt Wvinch," and gives you his hand.
Preston Cobb.
Very nice to meet you, Preston. My understanding is that we will be contacting a Mr. Walter Resnick. Is what Mr. Kane said on the phone. Is that correct? Are you friends of his?
You could say that.
Keep them cards close to the chest.
Well, Preston just, I mean, he doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and he thinks this guy's a fraud, so he's just going through the motions. But yeah.
He's like, oh, very good. Yes. Well, if you wouldn't mind, I can begin setting up. Mr. Kane has not arrived, I assume.
No. Do you need a piece of his clothing or something of that sort of Walter's?
Yes. If you have a.
So that's a real thing. Oh, okay.
Yes, and he takes your slight sort of in stride. He's like, yes, if you have a piece of, preferably something that meant something to him in life, some sort of personal effect or. Kind of looks.
I believe Edward has the watch that I gave him. Yeah, so
Yes.
Mr. Kane will be arriving with the trinket that we'll be using for tonight's. Whatever it is we're doing, and he doesn't strike me as a man who shows up late to events. Should be here any moment.
Yep. And then as you say that, 6:58 on the clock, you hear a knock at the door.
That must be him now. I open the door.
Yeah. It's me, and I'm having Smith come in with me, by the way.
Okay.
Good morning, or good evening. It's not morning. Good evening, Arthur.
Yes, it has been one of those days, hasn't it?
Let's hope it ends tonight. So I asked my valet, Mr. Smith, to stand watch by the door, if that's okay. I'm going to kind of say that quietly to you.
That's more than all right, sir.
Okay.
Come on in.
And I'll just follow you in, Arthur.
Mm-hmm. So we go in and I show Mr. Wvinch these accommodations suit your craft setup?
So Mr. Kane, as you walk in, he's sort of setting up his effects. So he's pulled out a few candles and he's putting them in the center of the table and lighting them with a match. And then the watch that you have, Mr. Beaumont, is that just like a phony watch?
Yeah, it was just a watch I had in my pocket that I gave to Edward Kane.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, it's like a throwaway, got it. It's just a whatever watch. Yeah, no insignia, nothing.
Nice. So he takes the watch.
So, yeah.
He takes the watch. He's like, yes, very good. And this was Mr. Resnick's pocket watch.
Just dead silence from all of us. Okay. Yes, I believe Mr. Cobb knows him the most. He's
his grandfather gave him that watch. It's really special to him.
Yes.
Very, very good. Yes. Go. Actually, Preston, go ahead and give me a fast talk, just for
oh shit,
for shits and giggles.
Oh. All right. I got a hard success. 11 out of 25.
Nice.
Hard success. Okay.
Great. He makes the BS rolls like for BSing.
You said it so offhandedly that he's just like, yes, very good, very good, yes. And Mr. Cobb, was Mr. Walter a friend of yours?
Yes, he was.
Very good. I don't mean this question to come off as insensitive, but did he die at peace?
I wouldn't know.
I see. May I ask more specifically? Again, I do not wish to cause any offense. How he died?
I'm not exactly certain.
I believe it was unnatural causes.
Okay. Yes. Can you tell me any more?
He was not an elderly gentleman. He was a younger fella, but we're not privy to the details of his demise.
I see. And Mr. Cobb, did Walter Resnick seem to you to be a happy fellow?
Oh, he was, but I don't think he was very happy. But at the time of his death.
I see. So there was a change in demeanor in the last few weeks of his life. Is that fair to say?
Oh, well, yes, but why didn't you know all this,
Well,
Mr. Wvinch?
Yes, the other side is a very deep ocean of Well, entities and space, and the more that I can find out about this Mr. Resnick, the better I will have of contacting him. I think of me as like a bright lighthouse on the ocean, and of many dark souls.
Oh, well, in that case, he was a hopeless romantic, and he was often chasing the love of his life he grew up with that had run off with his best friend, and he had always been trying to woo her. So that might steer the ship of the sea you speak of.
How very curious. Mr. Cobb, can you confirm this?
Sure. He probably, I think what happened was I think he did have a nice last home cooked meal shortly before he came back and died peacefully in his sleep of unknown causes. And he'll just totally deliver that line of bullshit because he doesn't believe that the guy needs to know any of this stuff.
That's why I said what I said too. I was like, let's just give him stuff to get it started.
Yeah.
He looks perplexed by all of your answers, and you can tell that he's not sure of what to make of any of this. He's like, well, okay, I've got the pocket watch. Please, if you will all sit down at the table.
So yeah,
Okay.
so I said,
And sir, and he turns to the valet, Mr. Smith, and he's like, I have not met you yet, sir. Would you please as well join us? And Mr. Smith,
go ahead and
I was gonna say, Mr.
Yeah.
Smith looks at Kane,
yeah. He won't be participating. Is that going to be a problem? He's more so just to make sure no one steals my car.
I see. Yes. Is there any way that he could perhaps step outside if he will not be involved?
Of course. Victor, just step outside, but stay close.
Very well,
I'm
sir.
That's fine.
Okay. So he exits the studio and stands outside. Okay.
yeah.
So please, I know that he kind of gets a sense that you guys are skeptical, and so he's like he's kind of trying to like smooth out your concerns. He's like, no,
Can I tell that?
I think so. I mean, I don't think there's any role here, but he's just kind of like explained to you very carefully like what he's gonna do. So he says you all join hands. He says that he needs deep concentration for no one to really say anything. And to
Whose hand am I holding?
let's just say that we're in the circle that I have here on.
Okay.
So it's going to be Gerrhardt holding hands with Preston and Arthur, and then Kane in the middle of Preston and Arthur.
Okay.
On the other side.
You notice my hands are ridiculously smooth.
Yeah, Edward definitely would take note of that and kind of look at you.
Yeah, like a newborn babe.
That's very interesting.
Preston's aren't far off either. He's never done a day of manual labor in his life.
Just slight, man.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anything?
Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Mr. Wvinch, we're to address the elephant in the room. I don't have any stake in any of this that's taking place, but I am completely open to anything that may happen. I imagine that's not particularly fertile ground, but professionals such as yourself should be able to work with less, I imagine.
Well, I understand. I have worked with many skeptics over the years. I would just ask that you would hold your skepticism for just a few moments, and if you would just concentrate perhaps on this pocket watch and your thoughts on Walter, that would be most effective as a stand-in.
Sounds good to me.
Very well.
Real quick, Edward will just look over, looking at Arthur and then looking at Preston, seeing them like going, oh boy. He's going to look over at Gerrhardt and get his attention and just kind of like lock eyes and go, well, I believe Mr. Finch, so you go right on ahead. Because Edward does really believe.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Very well, Mr. Kane. Yes, thank you.
He wants to believe. How about that?
Yes. So he dims the lights. You guys all sit around this table with a number of candles in the middle of it and join hands. He says, now, let your minds relax. Let your energy flow to me.
I imagine I immediately think of dark cosmos thing, trippy old ones and Cthulhu.
Oh, how dangerous.
Preston just says really quietly to Arthur, he's like, I told you he'd dim the lights.
Son of a bitch.
That's good.
Okay, so then he closes his eyes and he says, where are you? Walter Resnick. And it's quiet for a few moments. And you just kind of see him with his eyes closed and sort of like fidgeting his head. And then he says, I beseech you, where is Walter Resnick? And as he does that, his grip on Preston and Arthur's hands is becoming tighter. And he says, you are here. And the grip becomes tighter. Also, how many of you guys have your eyes closed? Who has their eyes open?
Oh, my eyes are open.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you guys?
I think my eyes would be open too.
Okay. Yeah. Preston, are your eyes open as well? John, I imagine Preston's eyes are probably open, right? He's not closing his eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's eyes are open?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you see that the candle kind of flickers as though in a breeze, but there's no hint of a draft in the room. So there's no wind that passes through, and suddenly, as he's kind of remaining silent and sort of like fretting here to and fro, you guys get an odor of something burnt in the room.
Do I recognize it? Is it hickory?
It smells rancid.
Ah.
Yeah, can we pick it out at all? Like what it might, any kind of memory of what it would be?
I'll just say that it seems very like there's nothing to quite equate it to except for I mean maybe like burned trash or something like that. Like it's just like definitely like a charred smell, but just like a rancid, nasty,
like burning tire fire.
Tire, something nasty that's burning.
All right. Pardon me.
and then Wvinch says, he's like, a gentleman, there is another a presence here that is pushing to come through. Give me a moment. And he grips your guys' hands even tighter. It's at this point, so we're gonna kind of cut to Mr. Kane. So we'll get back to what Preston and Arthur experienced here in a minute. But Mr. Kane, you're compelled to shut your eyes as the power of this seance kind of builds, and you find yourself on a small dock on a lake, and you see. Do you have a brother and a sister? How many? I know you have two siblings. What are they?
I do. I am the middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister.
You see your older brother swimming in the lake, and you see him kind of helping your sister swim along as well. And you're at peace. You're a child. Okay. And this doesn't strike you, almost like as in a dream. This doesn't strike you as strange. You're just suddenly here.
Okay, I'll call out to Eustace and Evangeline, and I'll say, why are you swimming? And just more so because, well, actually, let me ask you, Keeper, do I have any sort of feeling that I am present as a kid, or is it kind of like I'm watching a hovering body watching this scene? Sorry, I had to think about how I wanted to mention.
You're in body, so it's not like you're third person looking at yourself. But again, cool. Like you're a child, but you're not thinking that you're a child with your adult perception. Like you almost don't even question it. Like you're just like, okay, like this scene is very familiar to you. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm at, it's a summer in, 1909 or something like that. And I'm sitting on this dock with my brother and sister swimming in the lake.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I will probably grab probably like a reed switch or something that we would probably chase each other around with. And I'll be like, I'm coming for you. And I will do a 1920s cannonball, I guess, into the water and like just splash in between them.
Nice. So Eustace, your older brother, what's your younger sister's name?
Evangeline. My parents did E's.
He's like, Evangeline, run! And they start like swimming away and like peals and squeals of laughter as you cannonball into the lake. You guys are playing in the lake for a bit, and you start to feel very cold. The lake has it's just that chill. And you see your mother come out onto the dock, and she's like, Eustace, Edward, Evangeline, please, it's time to come eat some brunch. Please come in.
Okay. In Edward fashion, he would go and hold his breath for 10 seconds under the water and hoping that he wasn't seen, and then he'll come back out again, watching his brother, who was always do whatever parents said, and then the sister who could do no wrong. So she's probably still splashing, but he'll swim his way towards the dock following Eustace.
So when he goes under the water, you can still hear your mother's voice, though it's submerged. So you hear like... and then when he comes up, Eustace and Evangeline are not there, and your mother's standing on the dock, and it's gotten dark. Her eyes are red, and it almost appears, for a moment, you're not sure, there appears to be multiple sets of eyes that are red on her face.
Okay.
And she's like, Edward, come to me. I am your mother. I am your mother. And as she starts to say that, like you're taken back by this. She gets down on all fours on the dock and kind of sprouts like these large, sort of arachnid legs, and she starts screaming, "I am your mother. I am your mother." And her face, like she sprouts fangs, red eyes, and dives into the lake at you.
Oh, she's in there with you, man.
Edward, me, anyone else just screams, and he just puts his hands up like this, hoping that he could get underwater out of the way.
Of course. And we'll take it back to the seance with Preston and Arthur. Wvinch suddenly squeezes your guys' hands to the point of pain, to where you guys almost have to pull your hands away. Mm-hmm. And as you look at him, his eyes pop open, and he has red eyes, and he says, "I am the mother. I am the mother. I am the mother." And as you guys turn to look at Kane, he has completely fallen over in his chair and is lying just flat on the ground.
Huh.
And that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Basically, just leave us with a nightmare. Thanks.
Yay!
Call Cthulhu.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. So for everybody watching us, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Please stay tuned. We are nearing the conclusion of the Arkham Chronicles, or maybe at least the first part. If you like our stream, again, like and subscribe. Check out our alternate stream featuring Cyberpunk, and we'll see you guys next time.